This podcast of the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs is sponsored by AAA Heating and Air.
The premier HVAC company in the Midlands is growing. Are you a top HVAC technician?
AAA Heating and Air is looking for dedicated applicants to fill their fast-growing service department with top-notch HVAC technicians.
If you're the best, then they want you. If you're ready to stop working and start a career, you can earn up to $100,000 plus a year at AAA Heating and Air.
Quality candidates will have at least 2 years experience and a good driving record. Benefits include top industry salaries, commission on service and unit sales, set call limits, company-provided take-home vehicle and gas card, company-provided cell phone and tablet, health, dental, and vision benefits, 401k retirement plan with company match, and scaled PTO based on length of service.
Contact Roy and Dana Finley at 803-677-1500 or check out their job postings on Facebook or ZipRecruiter.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
The Love Chevrolet Countdown to Gamecock football. 25 days till kickoff. While others take full advantage of the market with ridiculous add-on stickers, Love never sells above MSRP. Come experience the difference at Love Chevy, your trusted family-owned dealership since 1961. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads. The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT-FM, Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen, with Chris Clark.
The 2007 South Carolina class was, at that time, 6th in the country and 4th in the SEC, which is amazing.
Wes Mitchell.
You know, I think for South Carolina, you're aiming to at least be at 50%. Then in theory, you're adding talent, you're getting better, you're putting yourself in a position to compete.
And Tyler Head.
It's been a great week for South Carolina. On the recruiting front, still certainly plenty to talk about.
On the home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
I'll touch my V-neck sweater. 1 and 2 and a 1, 2, 3.
And welcome into the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs. Here on 107.5 The Game, Tyler Head, Chris Clark, Wes Mitchell, along with you on this Tuesday morning. Thank you once again to Heather Hens and Olivia Thompson for being our guest today on the Garnet Trust Hour, which I'll have up for you shortly on the 107.5 The Game podcasting page. It's got me curious. If we have Wes Mitchell and Chris Clark go head-to-head in pickleball, who's winning?
Oh, I've never played pickleball, so I haven't either. I don't know.
It's really weird that we haven't played.
It's
everybody else has.
It's like sweeping the nation. They're building pickleball courts on every corner, it seems.
They're building one out in Lexington County somewhere, I saw. A massive 24-hour. Yeah, I don't know who's playing pickleball at 3:30 a.m.
That's
but
right down the street from where I live.
Hey, whoever you are, first of all, reach out. We can get some advertising
Is that
going.
an addiction if you're playing around the clock?
Yeah,
you get addicted to pickleball.
Going on there.
It does seem addictive based on how much people are playing nowadays.
Yeah, but for real, reach out. We'll talk about you on air by name. But that's a game. I feel like from a business building standpoint, what if this is just a fad? You're building they're building a massive, it looks like it's going to be huge.
I feel like even when the fad dies off, there's still going to be a fair amount of people that are super serious about it, though.
Yeah, but I mean, you can. There are courts out there you can just go play for free.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know.
If you can brave the Columbia heat.
Are there indoor courts for it too, or is it all outside?
Well, that thing they're building out there ain't going to be outdoor, is it? It looks to me like it's going to be a big old indoor.
I think they have both.
The last I looked at it, there wasn't much progress in the construction, so
it takes a while to do.
Tyler said that, not me. We'll talk you up.
We can still talk if you want. Yeah, I don't know how we haven't played. We'll do. Apparently, Heather and Olivia, that's the one thing they disagreed on. They can't decide who's the better player, but they play each other a lot. Pickleball tournament with the soccer team.
Yeah, on the 19th.
Soccer team coming up on the 19th.
So you can hit that, and then you can go to the kickoff party out at Steelhands.
Absolutely. Great day. Like a great day to me.
I think theirs is pretty early. So
yeah, you can definitely make both.
Shout out to women's soccer. Awesome program.
Yep.
What y'all talk about?
Talked about a lot. Talking about saving penalty kicks over at the end, but just talking about the student athlete experience. Good stuff. We just let them roll with it. They had a lot to say, different perspectives. They were not really friends until, a couple years ago. Didn't really know each other. Got to know each other. And now they're actually good friends, which I didn't know. I didn't know if they'd even ever met before they came in here. But obviously they have.
Because I thought Olivia was the one that was convincing her to come in and do this. I thought
that might have been
a connection there.
That might have been. I said I didn't know if they had ever met.
Oh, I see.
They obviously had.
Well, there you go,
guys. I want to open the show with this. We got a lot to talk about.
Yep.
With camp. Wes, did you see this? Or Tyler, did you see this? So
No.
our guy Adam Schefter.
Yep.
Oh, okay, I did see this because you texted me.
All right. NFL insider and extremely well connected.
Yes.
ESPN.
Like the dude for NFL Scoop.
He's the guy. Like he's the Adrian Wojnarowski NBA.
He's got 3 phones on air.
Yeah, he's got breaking news on air. doing
Literally
interviews on air.
answers them on the air.
Yes. So Schefter tweeted out today, or X'd out, or whatever we're going to call it, a depth chart. And a depth chart, usually pretty unremarkable, not any big news. And I cannot wait to hear what Heath Klein has to say about this. I'm going to tune in today with Heath Klein. The 2023 Tampa Bay Buccaneers unofficial depth chart. And the, maybe mildly noteworthy part of this is that Baker Mayfield is listed as an or with Kyle Trask of Florida fame as a starting quarterback for the Bucs. And that's been a discussion point and a question. So he's listed as an or. Adam Schefter weighed in a couple hours ago saying that he has never seen an or on a depth chart.
I think you guys have seen a few of those.
There's your sign that is an NFL reporter.
NFL guy.
Definitely not a college football guy.
First of all, it shows you how non of an NFL guy I am. News to me that Baker was even with Tampa now. Had paid no attention to any of that.
Well, it's clearly not going well.
Completely locked into college ball. I'm a college guy. However, I could have shown him about 10 ors on the Gamecocks depth chart alone.
Well, I'm making fun of him for not knowing this on a college level, but so I guess this shows the opposite. I don't know this. Is it really the case that they don't do a lot of ors in the NFL? Or is Schefter just kind of blissfully unaware?
No, I would think he'd be aware. I would hope of something.
I would hope.
Like that.
NFL
So I think here's the thing. In the NFL, they don't give up. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care. Both these guys have worked really hard. Both these guys have earned it. Both these guys have done what we asked. No, they do not care about that stuff. It's you're one, and that may be because you have the contract that makes you one. You're one on the depth chart, and you're two, and it is what it is, I think. So in college, you get a little bit more of, hey, both these guys have done every single thing that's asked of them. Both these guys have, quote, earned a spot. It's tight between the two. We know how much depth charts are going to be talked about by people like us.
Yep.
Both these guys are going to start, so let's put them both on there.
Yep.
If you're at this point in camp, let's put it into South Carolina terms. At right tackle right now, if there was a depth chart, I feel like there would be an or. Because we saw one guy with the ones on Friday. We saw somebody different with the ones on Monday.
There could probably be a couple of different ors.
Well, yeah, there would be there could be multiple ors, but I think that would be the most glaring, easy example of, hey, where's an obvious or? To me, right there, right tackle. You start getting down the depth chart, there, is there an or at third string quarterback? Lenore Sellers, Tanner Bailey, potentially. I think you would have exited the spring with an or there for sure. There's ors throughout this thing, I think.
Do you remember? So I thought this was going to be a fun little exercise to do. Do you remember how many ors there were last season? So last year's preseason depth chart was released. This is a 2-for-1 for you guys. Some people may be wondering, when's the depth chart going to come out? Last year, I think it was August 29th. So not too long for game one. That's probably in the game notes.
Yeah, I think it comes out literally for game one. Like you don't really get we didn't get one at the beginning of preseason camp. Would have loved to get one.
Do y'all remember some of the ors
Yeah, the entire receiving corps.
It was the entire receiving corps.
But those guys did all start. Like they rotated
that was
who
more
started.
Of a true. Sometimes you see an or and you're
sometimes
like,
the or is you know what, but the or in this case was accurate. I feel like.
Do you remember the most surprising or? So all three, I think it was all three, right? Receiving positions were all ors.
Was that Josh Vann was not a lone starter?
Yes, with Jalen Brooks, right?
Yeah, I can't remember who was with who. I think Leggett and Wells were maybe ors. Van and Brooks were ors. AB and DeCarrion Joyner.
Starting running back for the Gamecocks this year. Will he be an or this year?
No.
Okay, that's good. I've
already told y'all he's starting. Y'all
I know, but like,
y'all keep putting ifs on it.
No, on the depth chart though.
No.
Yeah.
Starter on
Just
the depth
straight
chart,
up
starter on the field, starter in practice, starter on the video game, starter.
So all three receiver positions last year were ors, and we can talk about those more. There's another two though. Do you remember them?
On the entire team or just offense?
Entire team.
Entire team.
Preseason.
Hold on. This is a fun game. Kicker.
Yep.
There's one.
And actually, there's three others. Kind of like
3 others?
Yeah.
What a liar.
2 more in addition to what you said.
Okay, kicker. I don't want to just give everybody dead air, so I'm going to give up.
So kicker is accurate.
Yeah.
Punter and holder.
Oh, well. Okay.
Now, during the season, if I recall correctly.
Wait, how was punter and or?
Exactly.
Check your notes.
Yeah, I've checked at 2 different places.
What were the options?
Mitch Jeter or Alex Herrera.
Yeah, I remember that. That's at kicker.
Punter, Kai Kroger or Alex Herrera. And then holder, Kai Kroger or William Joyce. So when you look back at that, you go, what? Why was that ever a... But you do remember at kicker especially. Like, I don't know if the punting competition was ever that close.
Yeah.
Kicker was close.
Kicker was legitimately down to the wire.
It was down to the wire.
I don't think they even announced.
No, I think it was just
Mitch Jeter just went out there and refused to miss a kick.
He just didn't miss a kick, and then Kroger did.
Well,
the Kroger one is surprising. Like in hindsight, you're like, really?
When you think you're that close to getting replaced, guess you can't miss a kick, right?
True.
True. That's the Spurrier approach to depth charts, I think. But okay, if sometimes Preston Thorne listens to our show, so Preston, if you happen to be listening, man, give us a call because I got a feeling, and I think we may have talked about this. I think Preston feels some type of way about the ors on the depth chart because I don't think they had ors when he was in school many years ago.
If he does not call in, I have 3 hours with him tomorrow morning, and I'll be sure to bring it up.
Please bring this up.
Then we'll replay the audio on our show.
Yeah, because I don't think he likes the or. How do we feel about the or? And is there a difference between the accurate depth chart or and the or where it's kind of like, we're just kind of not hurting somebody's feelings?
Is Preston's opinion, like, I can't remember his opinion either. Does he think it's like soft to have an or?
We'll have to ask him. I don't want to put words in his mouth. But
I'll get to the bottom of it.
I have a feeling, I think we did talk about this, but even if we didn't, I have a feeling he has an opinion on this.
Sometimes you'll also see depth. So you'll see a depth chart come out before game 1. We're all looking to the phone board to see if Preston's going to call in.
I've got my eye
looking over towards it.
He's not calling yet.
He's not calling. We're disappointed. But sometimes you see a depth chart put out before game 1, and then some things adjust during the year, and the team just never put out a new depth chart. Right, that guy's not starting anymore. USC did update theirs a little bit. Like, I remember an or. Is this in 2021 or 22, Wes? There was at least one or at the defensive tackle position. MJ Webb was an or with somebody. I feel like it was like Zach Pickens or MJ Webb. Like, it was something kind of mildly surprising in there. But USC did adjust theirs a little bit over the course of the year. I don't know if wide receiver was one that got adjusted. But as you said, those guys did play. So I'm in favor of the or if it's an accurate reflection of what happens. If you're putting an or just because you're trying to say we got great competition at every spot. No, I'm not down with that.
Well, there were oars. Weren't there 3 oars at running back 2 years ago?
Yeah. Or
the old triple oar?
Yeah.
But then all those guys played off top.
Yeah.
So
they tend to do a pretty good job here, I think.
It was really Muschamp who would just leave the thing. You'd have guys out for the season, and they'd just be on.
They'd be a starter.
Well, you know,
depth chart.
Why update the depth chart when you can watch more film?
That's true.
All right, we'll dive into some of the camp observations from yesterday. Coming up next, you're listening to the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs on 107.5 The Game.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. 107.5 The Game.
If you're hungry, which I am, Wes, very hungry, skip breakfast. So I'm going to have to go pay a visit to one of the 14 Midlands Firehouse Subs locations. Closest one to us is over there, right on campus, 633 Main Street. And I'm going to hit the Rapid Rescue or check out the Firehouse Subs app. Haven't decided yet. I'll probably use the app because that's the easiest way to get myself points. And there's 2 options that I'm going to have to pick between today. One is the regular Tuesday sub of the day. Y'all know what it is. Tyler's got it memorized. Juice Wells has it memorized. Wes has it memorized. That is the turkey bacon ranch. $7.99 for a medium, $5.99 for a small. Order it on the Rapid Rescue at any of the participating locations. That's all of them here in the Midlands. You can also walk into the store, get it for $7.99, $5.99 for a medium, $5.99 for a small, $7.99 for a medium. You can also check out the app or online exclusive $6 medium limited time offering. That's the pepperoni pizza meatball sub. The $6 price is only on the app or the Rapid Rescue online. FirehouseSubs.com, the Firehouse Subs app. Again, if you want to walk into one of the stores, $7.99 for the medium turkey bacon ranch, or online or on the app, Firehouse Subs app, FirehouseSubs.com, $6 for the medium pepperoni pizza meatball sub. Both outstanding options at Firehouse Subs. Again, that's FirehouseSubs.com or the Firehouse Subs app.
What did Wes and Chris see out at camp yesterday? Coming up next, Gamecock Central Takeover Hour.
Mix a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
The Jets are bracing themselves into doing Hard Knocks this year.
Bracing themselves. Look, coaches want to control the controllables. They don't want to have a camera crew in the building. You know, I know that they want to lie low. This is what happens when you go and swing for the fences and get Aaron Rodgers. Are you kidding me?
The Rich Eisen Show podcast, wherever you listen.
107.5 The Game.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. Presented by Firehouse Subs. Founded by firemen with Chris Clark, Wes Mitchell, and Tyler Head on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
And welcome back into the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. Presented by Firehouse Subs here on 107.5 The Game. Tyler, Wes, and Chris along with you on this Tuesday morning. Yesterday afternoon, media was allowed to see the second session of camp on day 4 of camp leading up to the season, and a couple of notes that you guys had on GamecockCentral.com. We'll start off, since we were talking about the oars on the depth chart, with that right tackle spot. Sidney Fugar was at right tackle with the ones on Friday, and it was Tyshawn Wanamaker who was with the ones yesterday. And as you guys mentioned, just kind of a rotating group of guys of who could potentially take that right tackle spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would imagine that if we had randomly been out there for a different 11-on-11 rep, you know, maybe part of the time it was Fugar, part of the time it was Wanamaker in the last 4 days. And, you know, we're seeing limited windows of action. So I think we got to remember that before we read too far into it. But at the same time, obviously, there's a bit of a competition going on there. So yesterday when we were out there, that was the second window we were able to view, but that was their 4th overall practice. So they practiced Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and there's going to be movement. And so we're kind of doing the best we can to kind of sort through what is just, hey, they're rotating guys in and out. What is actual movement? As, you know, do you read this as, hey, Wanamaker has passed Fugar? Or is it that just, hey, this is an ongoing competition? My initial read, my instinct, my gut would be that this is going to be an ongoing competition. I think eventually Case and Henry is in that mix as well.
certainly as he gets back closer to 100%, and as the year goes on, when you're going to have guys banged up, you're going to have injuries, I think he is in that conversation. But right now, it kind of appears that spot is up for grabs. Those guys are fighting it out. Ja'Kai Moore continuing to work with the first team at left tackle, and Tree Babalade, the freshman, highly recruited guy, but again, a freshman, not a spring enrollee. He continues when we're out there to work with the second team at left tackle. So how quickly can they bring him along? How quickly can they bring all these freshmen on the offensive line along? I think is going to be frankly, a key to the entire season.
I think we see, to go back to what we were talking about segment one, do we see oars at both tackle positions? Right tackle is an absolute. Do we even see an oar at left tackle? I don't know. Right now, right for me is like an almost definite unless it gets sorted out between now and the North Carolina game. But if we're typing one out and printing it out today, I might even have one at left tackle.
Yeah, I could see that one going either way. I tend to think it's gonna be your guy who has played. Like that's probably gonna be Ja'Kai. Could he get beat out eventually though? I don't say you put that past him either. So I think there's still gonna be a lot of jockeying at that spot. Interestingly enough, most of my oar spots, if I was to kind of try to list it out, are probably more for backup spots to where it's like a second team, third team battle as opposed to a battle for a starting spot. I feel like for the most part, you can probably, assuming health of everyone, you could actually probably predict the starters for more of those 22 spots, than you would think even this early, I think.
No oars this year on the wide receiver depth chart. I don't think.
For starters?
Yeah. Yeah. Backup
maybe.
roles, maybe. But the starters are set. It's the old heads, it's Juice, it's AB, it's Xavier Leggett. Those are the guys. I don't think there's any doubt. I'm with you to carry on. He's the starter. As you said, on paper, in reality, in the video game, Spencer Rattler, you probably got, 2 to 3 spots pretty solidified on the offensive line. And you've got a bunch of them on defense, I think, too. Like, you kind of know who your guys are. No, there's a couple on defense, that I think need to be sorted out. One of the end spots is probably one. Yeah, Tyreek Johnson yesterday.
Yeah, I was about to ask you. If we're saying right tackles in order, that's kind of a given. Where are your other sort of, hey, this would more than likely, you feel pretty comfortable saying this would be an or, either now or between now and then. You think it is that spot opposite Jordan Strachan at edge/defensive end, whatever you want to call it?
I think if we're putting out a depth chart here on August 8th, I could see Tyreek just being straight up number one.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. For me right now, the biggest question may be like Mike linebacker. Is that maybe the top one? I think you could even go defensive tackle. Because you've got, I kind of see it as you've got maybe 3 guys for 2 spots as far as your starter. You got Boogie Huntley, you got Tonka Hemingway, and TJ Sanders. Whew. It's going to be hard to not have TJ Sanders as a starter, but he may not be.
You saw who was out there yesterday.
Yeah,
Boogie was back in that one role
alongside Tonka Hemingway.
Yeah.
So that might be
Tonka's going to start somewhere.
Yeah,
he's
starting and playing. But Mike linebacker, Stone Blanton was off on the side yesterday, so you bake that into the equation. Mo Kaba could play. He could end up playing either, right? But for me, Mike linebacker, that might be an or situation. I don't feel like there's really any ors in the secondary for starters, unless they do the. Now here's the wrench in it. They could choose to do the confusing like Spalding or Smith at nickel, Spalding or Smith at safety. They could pull that card on us.
Yeah, the evidence seems to point towards Smith at safety, Spalding at nickelback. I think that's where the evidence leads us. So
I think it is pretty set that that's their top 5 right now. Could somebody emerge? Dude, Kilgore is the guy that I think you just look at him. There is a ton to like about Jalen Kilgore. How quickly does he just assert himself? That play that sort of, I don't know if you'd say it's going viral, but it was a nice play. So people are talking about it on Twitter, talking about it on the message boards, where you had one-on-one, Josh Simon, Jalen Kilgore, entire team is watching, goal line situation. Dude, Kilgore had really, really good coverage. I thought, that was just one example of, hey, this kid goes out there. That was supposed to be like a high-pressure play, I think, where you say, look, if you make the play, your team, the defense is celebrating. Offense makes the play, they're celebrating. High-quality rep on all sides. And so if you're sitting there, you look at Kilgore's going up against a veteran. Josh Simon may be new to Columbia, to Carolina, but this guy has played some ball. He's a grown man. We had him in here for Garnet Trust Hour. Kilgore did not back down. He had really good coverage. It was just a perfect throw and catch. I think Kilgore is that guy that eventually you could look at and just say, man, he is pushing to where you have to get him on the field in some role. Generally, these things, the funny thing about depth charts, though, generally these things work themselves out. Somebody gets banged up, an opportunity arises. This time last year, everybody started talking about Nick Emamori. Well, hey, where would he fit in? And then there's an injury on the first drive of the season, and Emamori is on the field as a quote-unquote starter, and then never leaves the field after that as far as starting position goes. So generally, if you push, if you get ready, if you put yourself in a spot to be the guy, the opportunity will kind of make itself known.
All right, we'll continue on with observations from yesterday's camp. Coming up next, Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs, 107.5 The Game.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. 107.5 The Game.
Hey, guys, if you're looking for that special gift, maybe you got somebody in your life who is not in a position to just buy something easy for. We all have those people that they have everything. You don't really know what to get them. I got a great idea for you. I've been telling you about it for the last couple of months. How about a custom framing job on their favorite artwork, maybe their favorite jersey, maybe they've got an autographed print. So our friends at Gold Line Framing in West Columbia, they can handle any and all of your custom framing needs. Again, that could be a diploma, artwork, canvases, jerseys, flags, really anything, because they've been in business for over 20 years at 511 12th Street, West Columbia. If you want to head over in-store, they've got an art gallery. They've got some home decor, furniture, gift items, all right there for you to look at. But again, you can also take your own work in there. They'll frame it up for you, throw it on the wall in the man cave, and have that thing hooked up real nice. 803-739-1337 is the number. They are open Tuesday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., then on Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you are all about social media, hit them up on Instagram. That's at Goldline Framing SC. They're always posting videos, reels, photos of some of the things they've done and some of their gifts in store. Again, that's our friends at Goldline Framing in West Columbia. Check them out for a special gift for that special someone in your life.
All right, we'll have more of camp observations coming up next. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs, 107.5 The Game.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen with Chris Clark, Wes Mitchell, and Tyler Head on your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Welcome back into the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs. Here on 107.5 The Game, Tyler, Wes, and Chris along with you. Quick reminder about the 107.5 The Game football kickoff golf tournament coming up Friday, August 25th out at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. If you want to be a part of it, it's $100 per person and $400 per team. Just give Charwood a call at 803-755-2000 to register. Going to have lunch provided by Firehouse Subs. We'll be raffling off football tickets, care-win passes, and much, much more. And be sure to grab one of those spots soon before they fill up again. The football kickoff golf tournament coming up Friday, August 25th out at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. Back to camp from yesterday and what you guys were able to see. I heard there was a bit of an altercation between a couple of coaches yesterday. Maybe Sterling Lucas and Lonnie Teasley not agreeing on how something went down?
Yeah, I mean, I think altercation probably strong, but it was
a heated argument.
It was typical camp competitiveness, I would say. Really on all sides, man. I mean, it was hot out there, but they were getting after it during 11-on-11. High energy on all sides, lots of talking, lots of chatter between offense versus defense, and sometimes that spills over to offensive line coach versus defensive line and edges coach as well, I guess. So, yeah, there was some chatter. I don't even know if we even reported it because it's a big nothing burger, I think, in the long run, but it was talked about by the fans, and yeah, high energy. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the one-on-one stuff that we got to see there at the end of that period too, because highly, highly competitive, high energy, which is what you're looking for, what they want there. I didn't even, Chris, maybe I didn't even see what exactly set it off. I think maybe somebody was hitting somebody a little late, a little low. I don't know.
Yeah, apparently this stemmed from Bradley Dunn, who's running back, I believe, with the twos at this point in time, getting tackled a little bit too hard because, again, they weren't out there in pads.
That would make sense.
Yeah, they were. I mean, there was a lot of competition. That was a period of about, 10 to 15 minutes. They were doing some team stuff, and then they moved right into some one-on-ones where there were only, I think like 3 or 4 plays, Wes, overall.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I think it was just, I don't want to say it was in good fun. It's probably fun now when you go back and look at the film and talk about it and slap each other on the back and all that kind of stuff. But it was in competition. Some competitive guys out there. The coaches are competitive too, just like the players are. So, yeah, I agree with Wes. Not a nothing burger. You'd rather see that than not, probably, in that particular instance. I remember there was a situation several years ago during a game that Gamecock fans probably still remember. I think it was during a Georgia game, and it happened on the side. Like, you probably don't want to see that, on the sideline. And it was a lot different than that, I would say. But the one-on-one period got pretty competitive, too. I actually missed play one, Wes, while we were trying to run down to that area. The players beat us to the spot and then kind of formed a little wall.
As I would hope they would.
Yes. And so, yes, it'd be a bad sign if they didn't. So I missed play one. The third play, I guess it was the Kilgore, Rattler, Josh Simon play. Big time play. Just a great play all around, just super competitive. And actually another one, the second play, Beamer called out Tree Babalade, Desmond Umeozulu.
Two freshmen. Both from the same area.
DMV guys, both big-time 4-star recruits. And Desmond got the best of Tree on that particular rep. It was just a one-on-one pass rush move. Great move. Desmond Umeozulu, watching him during practice yesterday, you can see why. You can see why he was a guy that had, 20, 30 offers, 4-star guy, big-time get for Carolina. He's going to play some type of role this year, and I think he's got a chance to be really good.
Yeah, I paid special attention to 2 guys. Jordan Strong, just watching how he moved around. I don't want to be that guy that just blindly is like, oh, yeah, he's completely 100%. He's exactly right back to where he was. I don't want to say that, but I will say this. For a guy who was wearing a knee brace and a guy who was in his first season back from a very serious knee injury, I thought he looked the part. Like, he was not showing signs of favoring the knee. He was not showing signs of, being slow on it or anything like that. I thought that was a really good sign. And a guy, I guess we're going to talk about the edge spot quite a bit today, which just naturally gotten us there. I really like JT Gear, the transfer from Syracuse. We're not seeing him in pads yet. We're not seeing him, trying to lock in and set the edge against the run. But I just think he really looks the part. Big kid, has some size on him, looks like an SEC defensive end. And, he's running with the twos right now. I do think he's going to have his say there before it's over. We'll see if that's, starting or if that's being one of the first rotational guys in, but I think he's going to be in a spot to help this team quite a bit. And I talked to him briefly at Media Day and did confirm Jatius Gear.
Okay.
So he also goes by JT.
It's probably easier.
Yeah, I believe we had said it was Jatius, but I did confirm 100% Jatius, but he said JT is cool too.
That works. I think that's what I'll refer to him as.
Yeah, JT Gear. Be on the lookout. Just watching him bounce around out there. Has some traits.
Is edge similar to running back where, it still has some questions, right? You don't feel like this is, the 2012 Gamecock defensive line or anything. You don't feel like this running back room has, Marcus Lattimore and other guys like that. But, I think it's safe to say, if you're a Gamecock fan, if you're a media person, you feel better about USC's running back room than you do going into the spring. Are we there with edge yet?
I still got my questions.
Well, questions, but quantify the level of how much better you feel. Tyreek Johnson apparently had a good summer. Maybe that doesn't happen. Maybe JT Gear is not quite what you thought if you brought him in as a transfer. Those two things I think have helped stabilize the position a little bit. I still don't feel good about it. And I would say running back, you probably feel a little bit better about than edge. That's how I would put it.
Yeah, I find myself feeling like they're going to be just fine at running back. Now I think that's the thought internally as well. Sometimes you go play other people and your mind changes on stuff, but I think they're going to be fine at running back. I still have my questions on edge of, all right, rushing for, let's just say, a solid, average SEC offensive line across the way. Can you get pressure on the quarterback? Can you get pressure rushing for? I don't think they got a lot of pressure rushing for last year. But you had Cam Smith, you had Darius Rush, you had Marcellus Dial out there manning up with people, so you could bring 5, you could bring 6 if you wanted to. Are you as comfortable bringing in an extra rusher, from the linebacker spot as you were last year with your guys in the secondary? So I think that puts a little bit more of the onus on those edge guys to be able to create that and generate that pressure. Now, I've always liked Jordan Strong. I've always thought he could be a quiet draft pick if he has the year I think he's capable of. It's just a matter of, is he back to physically who he was, before he had the injury.
All right, we'll come back on the other side, wrap up today's edition of the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs on 107.5 The Game.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. 107.5 The Game.
If you have any audio-visual needs at your home, and that can span a wide range of things, and I'll tell you about some of those here in a second, call our friends Michael and Nathan at Integrated Media, 803-948-8327. They can do so many things at your home. Something as simple as mounting your TV. If you're having problems with your internet, they can help. They can come out to your home, help you get a better internet signal. They'll go through, they'll check different spots, find any dead spots. They can help you put in a system to where you're going to have outstanding, strong internet throughout your house, even outside your home. When it comes to outside your home, screen porch, patio, outdoor kitchen areas where you have maybe some speakers, a TV, they can help you set all of that up as well, whether it's inside your home or outside of your home. If you want some examples of some past work they've done, or even some inspiration, if you say, hey, this isn't good enough in my home, this isn't good enough on my screen porch or outside my home, I need to take this thing to the next level, go check out their Facebook and Instagram pages, Integrated Media Columbia. You can find some examples of the great work that they've done. They've been out to my home in the past to help me out with some things. Again, whether it's mounting a TV, whether it's hooking up a TV outdoors, Sonos wireless speakers, internet signal to avoid that dreaded buffering circle that you see on your TV or your devices, security and cameras, and complete smart home solutions. Our friends Michael and Nathan at Integrated Media can help you. That's integratedmediainc.com, Integrated Media Columbia on Facebook and Instagram, or 803-948-8327. Integrated Media specializes in smart home installation services right here in the Midlands. Go check out their work. IntegratedMediaInc.com, 803-948-8327.
All right, we'll have more of the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour coming up next. 107.5 The Game.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. Presented by Firehouse Subs. Founded by firemen with Chris Clark, Wes Mitchell, and Tyler Head. On your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
And welcome back into the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs. Tyler, Wes, and Chris with you for a few more minutes before turning things over to Jay and Terry for the halftime show. Obviously, you guys were out yesterday for your second session of viewing camp. Now we got a scrimmage coming up at the end of the week. What's the next time you guys are going to be out there and getting to see things?
That is a great question. I have no idea.
You have no idea?
I think we have a little bit of a layoff now. I think there's 4 total media availabilities, and I think we have a little bit of a layoff. We got to see a couple, not back to back, but pretty close.
So players are actually talking, or they were talking about 2 hours ago. So you kind of start to settle into some press conferences and players talking. Then coaches are going to talk. But you know what? What is today? The 8th?
Yes.
August the 11th, this Friday.
Okay.
2:35 p.m.
Cool.
Open. They're slowly easing back. Now we're down to first 5 periods of practice.
Sort of 7, 6, now 5.
Yes. Moving on down to 0.
Just slowly bring us down in what we can see.
First scrimmage on Saturday.
Yep.
Will not be open to public or media or drones or helicopters or really anybody. Unless you're a big donor, maybe you can get in over there. But that's when the movement really starts.
Yeah.
The pads will be on. The coaches generally start to kind of turn guys loose at that point.
Is tomorrow the first day of pads, by the way? Is it day 5? Is that right?
It should no, tomorrow is an off day.
Okay. So Thursday.
Practice 6 is Thursday.
Okay.
And that should be padded practice, yes.
Gotcha.
I think the first scrimmage is going to be important. I think the second one, which is actually on August 19th, day of the preseason kickoff party at Steel Hands Brewing for Gamecock Central, that's a key point. Lonnie Teasley said during the media day for preseason that was going to be the point that day or before. So by that date, he wanted to have an idea of who's my 5, who are my 5, and who are my 8. Who's the 8-man kind of rotation or my top 8. So offensive line, right tackle, left tackle, maybe a few other spots. Just the offensive line in general, that's been a big question. I think that question has been kind of amplified, as we get into preseason here. That's going to be a key hinge point, I think, for that spot to give us a better idea of what to expect. So obviously, if it's by scrimmage 2 that you want to know that, scrimmage number 1 is going to be a key time for that to kind of assess what you've got.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow to dive more into the ongoings of camp and hear what the players had to say earlier on this morning. Halftime show with Jay and Terry coming up next here on 107.5 The Game.